All right, it's game number 1 in a best of 5. Now I see why they gave me the new backgrounds. You're watching the DFY Star League, put on by the folks from DFY Esports. Is that so loud? Oh, okay, my bad. I'll fix that. I'll fix that for all the future ones, guys. My bad. I didn't know it'd be so loud. It looks fine on my end. My bad. But regardless, big thank you to all the people over in DFY Esports for putting this on. Remember, they want to do like a season 2, possibly season 3 and 4 and 5. All we got to do is give them the views and the website traffic that they want from this. So be sure to check them out. They are doing an iPad giveaway after all. You can just type away ! giveaway or click the little giveaway widget below the stream, excuse me. It'll take you directly to it. But that being said, to the top left, ladies and gentlemen, we have the blue Protoss player. It is none other than Harstem, with his opponent to the bottom right in that forged red, and oh, it looks so good. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Showtime. Showtime is a very good German player. He's had his ups and his downs, but I think he's always had pretty good PvP when it comes to mind. Harstem as well is very good at this matchup, and once upon a time, a long time ago at this point, we held a PvP-only tournament where we had many PvP matchups, and what was kind of cool was Harstem had really great macro, but he'd still end up falling to some of the more basic brute force strategy tactics. So what I mean by this, to give an example, is you'd see him rush out like +2 weapons, do charge lot Archons, the most classic way to play PvP, but then end up falling ultimately to something like just disruptors and other BS when it came to like air. However, not looking to play that straight up of a game. He does have a pylon placed down in the middle of the map, and on Ephemeron, this is going to cut through a lot of the BS. There's bridges, there's terrain, and he's just going to get about halfway down the field. He's got 2 Stalkers following those up, but keep in mind, Showtime with this probe has scouted a lack of a second pylon placed in his base. So he knows that there's something up, and that's why he's looking around the map right now. It's the biggest tell because, of course, your second pylon is critical to your supply block timing, and if you don't want to lose probes, you got to get that bad boy down. So Showtime, again, did not scout this yet, but he scouted a very distinct lack of a second pylon, and it sent him in a tizzy. 2 probes on the map now looking around, trying to find this proxy. It's a robo, too, so you know that this is a little bit spicier than a Stargate, and sometimes can be a little more committed. As this Immortal pops out. Whoa! I don't know if this will finish before the pylon's done. These Stalkers have to run interference. And the thing about Showtime is he cannot just sit there tunneling the pylon. If he does, he will lose the Stalker battle. So you're going to see him, look at this, stutter step just a little bit. Oh, this is going to be tight. I think he's going to deny the Immortal. This is huge. Now he's going to win this. Showtime's going to lose the Stalker fight. That's unfortunate. Harstem can send another probe out, build another pylon, but the timing for this has been completely ruined. And with a new Stalker reinforcing, this might be a lost battle for Harstem. Although he's not wasting time fighting in the middle of the map, he instead sends 2 Adepts across the field, and Showtime has not slacked through this. Despite getting this nice pick off in the middle of the field, he is going to put... Oh no, he had his probe positioned up here. He cannot let these transfer into the base. Now it's a race against time. He's going to click. He's going to try and build a shield battery. Gets that down just in the nick of time. Huge deny on these 2 Adepts. These Stalkers are going to have to walk back home, but that's okay, because for Harstem, that's going to distract them from killing the Robo, allowing him to rebuild that pylon. And while this did deny the timing of the Immortal, it didn't stop it from building entirely. So these Adepts have kind of done their job at this point, and they brought the Stalkers back, allowing Harstem to try and repower this Robo. The really stressful thing about this, though, is Showtime's going to ping pong right back to that location. And if he kills this pylon again, 2 pylons may have been necessary. Oh, he's not going to waste time with it. He says, you know what, it's depowered. Let's go. Let's go. Harstem can hold the top of this ramp. He's got a force field. This isn't really that stressful for him. The scary part of this comes with what gets left here. This Immortal, for example, is going to be kind of abandoned in the middle of the field. He does come down to the bottom side of the ramp saying, I'm going to bring that Immortal home, and I'm going to try and fight with it. Maybe recall it, immediately have that Nexus bring it home? I mean, as soon as this spawns, it can recall the Immortal. But if that Immortal's going to walk back, I don't know if it's going to make it back in time. Not making the call with the recall, decides to just walk it back for the backlines. This could work out for him. I mean, the Immortal is inherently very strong against what he's specifically going up against, but he is going to be found by this. And, oh, if he gets force fielded out. Okay, no force fields coming down for Showtime. He does walk that Immortal, and there's the big damage. Showtime going to lose a couple sentries here. I'm not sure that this ended up being the greatest attack of all time, but it did put some pressure on Harstem, some much needed pressure on Harstem. This pylon's getting focused down here too. So that's going to be into the robo, but I don't know that Harstem had many plans to keep building this. Showtime immediately recalls back to the natural base. Quick defense on this side because he needs it. Shield battery's going down in a bit of a panic, but I think he'll be okay without it. He's got the numbers on his side. Harstem was really, oh, he catches us with the sentries. Nice plays out of Showtime. This was a really, really tight timing for both players. And normally in PvP, I'm going to be honest, this match is a bit of a snooze fest for me. I don't find it that interesting. But the back and forth, and more importantly, the timing, the scouting from both Showtime and Harstem have been absolutely on point this game. As critical as it was that this pylon was killed earlier, it was equally important that Harstem sent those 2 adepts over here. That he built 2 adepts instead of 2 more stalkers to send over there. So lots of little great things happening in this first match of the day. We may have had a bit of a hiccup getting here, but oh, I'm glad we got here. Also, I do see many of you guys in the chat. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hello, Kara. I hope you are doing particularly well. And thank you for all the resubs, guys, just as we got a bit of downtime in the action. Dares, my man, thank you for the 48 months. Herakilla, thank you for the 14. And Shining 7, thank you for the 17 months. Welcome back, guys. Glad to have you here today. Again, this might have been like the worst start to the stream. The most stressful sleep through my alarm, but that's okay because we still made it on time. So did maybe not Harstem, but we still made it on time. And some disruptor play coming out of Harstem now is a really smart move. One good shot from these can really change the game. Dealing with this is going to be a bit of a problem. It's not really about fighting the Immortals. It's about pushing off that Warp Prism, which, as we all know, is very difficult to do. But hey, you know what? He picked off one, and that's pretty good, actually. Showtime not exactly skyrocketing behind this, but it is worth noting he's had a bit of a better income while this has gone on. Oh, there we go. Hi, Kara. Thank you for the 11 months. And I read that big message in chat. Thank you. Thank you for your humor, wit, and friendliness. Blink to Blink tells me that there might be more disruptors coming in this game from Showtime down the line. For now, though, this is pretty much just a straightforward, like, just gateways, just simple robo, and that's fine for now. But if he waits too long to make that tech change up, either to Phoenix in order to counter the disruptors of Harstem or his own disruptors, could find himself in a bit of a problem. Even if he's up, let's say, generously twice the stalker count, right? It's still, like, one disruptor can take that out if Showtime makes one misstep, one mistake. Hallucination confirms all of this around here, too. And he sees those 2 disruptors. He knows more are coming. So this is not just a small investment out of Harstem. Cool, so some sub-alerts are going to make sounds today, and some aren't. That's just great to know. Thank you, Fattings, for the Twitch Prime. Welcome to the channel. Diving forward, going to pick off the Zealot, but the Zealot was for scouting more than anything else, and that was a very important scout to have. Harstem's supply looks funny and janky. His army count, again, it is double the stalker count, and then some. But as I said, it's very critical. One disruptor shot here can make the world of difference. In fact, he's going to use that to take out these 2 adepts, which might not seem like the greatest use. However, that just killed any potential harassment to his mineral line, so he can focus on the front lines. While his own 2 adepts on the other side of the field are one-shotting probes. Is he going to destroy Showtime with this? Absolutely not. But it did. Whoa, actually by a lot of distraction for Showtime. Harstem microing on the other side of the field. Going to walk his Colossus into the force field to break it. Now he does lose some of the gateways here front lined, and he's not going to have that many disruptor shots out, but he does take a fight that I thought he would have otherwise never been able to take. Jumps down here, grabs the Immortal. That's a great pickoff. You still got to deal with these stalkers. They're going to be picking off all the pylons, depowering everything. +1 weapons denied at close to 90% finish. 7.5 seconds remain on the clock. Disruptor's not reaching. Colossus not doing much here. The Colossus was critical for the force field breaking, and we'll talk about that more in a moment. Right now, the fight continues, though, with these stalkers being 23-12. Harstem's losing some big units, but I think ultimately Showtime is going to be pushed out of the base. But Showtime accomplished something huge with this attack. He canceled Harstem's 3rd. Harstem now either forced to go very all-in with this game or play behind and hope Showtime makes mistakes. It's a tough decision to make. But let's talk about that Colossus for a minute, because that was such a big deal. You would never make a Colossus in terms of army for this. That was a 200 IQ play out of Harstem, to be sure. He knew there was going to be force fields he'd have to deal with, and that's the sole reason he got that Colossus in play, just for its massive status effect to break force fields. So if he had been locked out of the base with that force field there, this was game over. If he did not have a Colossus, this was game over. This was an insanely smart play out of Harstem, and granted, he's not exactly doing amazing off the back end of it, but it kept him alive in this game. And PvP can be very volatile. You usually don't see it trade back and forth like this with so many cool blows. I'm like the I'm like the last person to nerd out about a PvP, and I am nerding out about this PvP real hard right now. As the Stalkers continue to create a lot of pressure here, it's unfortunate, but at the same time with vision and timing, Harstem is going to try and land some of these disruptor shots. They are best used when against students pushing towards them, as you can see here. Showtime, unfortunately, does not pick off that disruptor, taking some damage for it. Some Zealots moving around the map. As Harstem moves towards his third, Showtime moves towards his fourth. Good macro plays out Showtime, and it's taken a long time for him to get to this point, but he finally has his own Robo Bay and Robo Facility combo. So his own disruptors, yes, getting started as we speak. Upgrades are still +1 on both sides of the field, and of course there's a charge, and ooh, really hoping to land that shot here. This is so key that he has this observer, because Harstem would not be able to predict moves like that. And at the same time for Showtime, incredible control being displayed, because any lesser player right now loses chunks of Stalkers, and this game's not even close to being as tight as it is. But I'm so glad that it is. Of course, +2 weapons for both players. This is really great to see. Harstem actually, like, on purpose going for Colossus this time, and even investing in extended Thermal Lance. Little curious on this choice. If Showtime was doing your classic, like, Zealot Archon play behind this, I think that this would be a fantastic move. Was going to take out Zealots, no problem. And he saw, and I think this is partially in reaction to seeing 4 or so Zealots in the bottom left. But that's not really what these are for. Showtime actually has a big Stalker army. He's got some Zealots in it, but I think the Disruptors will take care of the Zealots. Either way, there could be some Disruptor versus Disruptor fights that'll happen while this goes on. It's again, a very tight battle that's coming up in the near future. DT on the other side of the map is being chased down by the Observer, but the other DT slips into the natural while this goes on, so some background chaos. Harstem perhaps going to use this to his advantage. If Showtime is not paying attention to his army, one Disruptor shot could take them all out. Harstem hoping that would be the case. Unfortunately, it's not. 2 Zealots down here, going to shred away at the 4th base, take away that lead that Showtime currently has. Disruptors, oh, Harstem's fighting first! This is a big deal! 2 Disruptors for 1. Zealots charge in, though. Not a good fight for Harstem, as his own Colossus is on 18 health, and it's taken out by those Stalkers. This looked like a really good move out of Harstem, and this Disruptors firing first is a really big deal, to be sure, but unfortunately for Harstem, Showtime defends, and more importantly, defends his 3rd base. 4th base, excuse me. This is getting more difficult for me to speak, but more difficult for Harstem to play in this game. Now, as income gets back and, let's say, normalized, quote-unquote, from these spikes, but, I mean, the supply tells no lies in this game. 112 supply, 151, and Showtime's got, I think, a little bit better of an army composition right now. Harstem's more about hit and run, but he's not going to be able to out hit and run all these Stalkers unless he baits out a Disruptor shot for the ages! Okay, not crazy amazing, but good enough. This choke on the bridge against the Zealots is probably the best he could hope for, but he knows that if he sits there and fights, those Stalkers are going to blink up. So a new Disruptor shot comes in, takes out a chunk of the front line Zealots. His other Disruptor, which was off cooldown, unfortunately has been sniped off. Both Disruptors sniped off at this point. So no more magical explosions for the time being. Also, I can see, as an update, we have now reached $2,000 via the Matcherino prize pool. So thank you guys who took the time to donate some cash like Terminator, and for everyone else who added the coupon codes, much appreciated. I don't know if there are many, if any, coupon codes left, but if there are, please make sure to use them. Oh, these Archons look so cool. I love the forged Archons. I do like the Ihanri, or however you say it, Archons better, but these never look bad. Oh, they look so good. Now look, armies are still tough to really assess here. It's 24 Stalkers versus 18, but then there's 9 Zealots, 3 Archons, and a Mortal. In a straight-up, like, non-Disruptor battle, Showtime has the better army. But again, Disruptors are going to be key here for both sides of the equation. Either player could lose everything to a bad Disruptor shot. 4th base going to get sniped off. There's no way Harstem holds this. Best bet might have been to try and run the probes out, save a couple of minerals. But maybe going to hopefully use this as a distraction. Because while this goes on, he does run a bunch of DTs and Zealots blitzing that cannon, but he's not going to get there fast enough. So detection will not be a problem. Showtime deflects. But now Harstem's going to try and catch this army on the retreat. He knows where it's going. He knows where it's coming from. Disruptor shot to disruptor shot. Harstem fires a little bit later. The millisecond difference in those disruptors firing are what chooses who wins and loses these battles. He splits out of Harstem trying to make this happen. Finds himself in a bad situation with Blink on cooldown. Ooh, I think that Oracle was hoping to get a revelation tag off there at the end. Couldn't even pull that off. Split-second decision-making. Now, with both players having Stargates, we're not seeing a lot of Phoenix play, which is typically what you see in Counter 2 Disruptors. You can lift the Disruptor off the ground to completely deny its shot, but in this case, it's Oracles, and having vision is key in this matchup. No longer being able to purely rely on observers, revelation tags are going to be the only guaranteed form of scouting going forward. But these Disruptors find Showtime's Disruptors a little out of position, and firing shot for shot's a bit difficult when you're taking these guesses. Oh my god, this is so ridiculous. There's a good degree of I literally can't even right now. Disruptor shots over here. Get the Stalkers, but the Zealots pursue through. 5 Disruptors here to the top side. Showtime's army getting shaved off, but Harstem's is down 2-1 in supply. 55 army supply. I don't know, even with big Disruptor shots, that doesn't seem like a sure thing. This is tough for both sides. Showtime is not playing with his food, to be clear. He might be up in supply, and by all means, definitively is winning this game right now. But he could easily throw away this victory if he plays a little too complacent, if he gets too greedy, if he tries to end it too soon. So it's very important that he's playing slow like this. It might seem silly because you're like, dude, you're up like 100 army supply to his 50. Just say you move to win. But it's not as simple as that when Disruptors are in play, and especially when the guy on the other side of the equation is Harstem. So Showtime's taking measures to make sure that this is more of a secured thing. Back on the other side of the field, Tempests have started up, which seems silly, which seem weird, but they've got the range to force some fights out and hopefully maybe make Harstem make a bad decision. Archons can take 2 shots from these Disruptors. They're good front lines to have against Harstem's. Meanwhile, a distraction force over on the right side, perhaps? Or he's going to get locked in by the army on the left side if he's not careful. Realizing that danger, decides to back away. Good call out of Harstem. Bases are starting to mine out in the main and the natural, and that means it's also happening for Harstem on the other side of the field. So this is going to be a little bit difficult for him to keep up going forward. Up to this point, his income hasn't been that far behind, but as we go forward in the game, it is going to get worse and worse. And as you can see here on the minimap, he is long distance mining from this 4th base, where Showtime has 5 set up. Disruptor shots are firing, but none of them are detonating. Showtime's handling this pretty perfectly. And while yep, that's just going to be it. GG. Showtime, ladies and gentlemen, will take the first game of the day. But oh my god, what a game that was! Holy freaking guacamole! Harstem would like to clarify too, he meant to type GG, but he didn't hit enter as he ended the game. So he's just written that in chat. For those, I already see you guys saying no GG. He wants everyone to know he meant to type GG. So there you go. No issues. The second map is going to be Disco Bloodbath. I'm going to get this hosted up as quickly as possible. Keep the downtime to a minimum. We'll play some commercials after this game to make up for it, guys. But yeah, we started late. I don't want to start hitting you with a bunch of commercials, even though that was a long and really good game. So let me get these guys invited and sorted. Oh, okay. God, that was a good game. Who did I miss? Fish Corey, thank you for the 16-month resub. I'm sorry, the alerts and the shoutouts are going to be all over the place today. We just got to deal with it. But they're saying ready, so let's hop into it. Oh, yeah, hang on. I said I was going to lower the sound of that start video because you guys were not happy with that. I thought I could do that from here. I might not be able to. So I'm going to have to try and do this on the fly. I'm sorry, guys. Good luck. All right, it's game number 2 for the DFY Star League round of 8. This PvP got hot quick, and in the bottom right for this best of 5, down 1. We do have the blue Protoss, Harstem. To the top left, we have the red Protoss. His opponent, Showtime. Bly just threw us the host. That's fantastic. Thank you, Bly. And hello to all the people from Bly's stream. For those who don't know, Bly will be playing here in a little bit. I think Bly's been having a full day of Starcraft, if I'm not mistaken, though, because I know he was doing Wardy's tournament earlier today. But yes, coming up in the third match slot, I believe. Let me just confirm that, because I've already forgotten my own match order. Yes, in the third match slot today will be Euthermal versus Bly. So, while we watch out this PvP, next up is Geralt versus Cham. After that is Euthermal versus Bly. I think we're going to have a good day of games today, guys. This first one really just, it hit the spot, you know? It's like having a hamburger on the end of a day. It's just, delicious. Actually, no, I can't even say that. I just recently had a terrible experience with a hamburger. I went to a restaurant called White Spot, which I've been to like maybe once since I was a kid. I ordered their quarter-pound, quote-unquote, legendary burger, only to discover it's just a patty, mayonnaise, and a pickle. It's the most disappointing burger I've ever seen in my life. Will not order again. So, that burger reference, out the window. But, okay, going back on some of the things from that last game, before we start calling predictions and talking too much about this game, I can't even begin to tell you guys how epic that first game was for so many different reasons. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it too, but some of the moves that just really stood out to, by the way, this was actually a pylon block, which blows me away. Some of the things that stood out to me there, though, was the decision-making out of both players. First off, obviously, there was the scuffle with the pylon, and the way that was handled was so magnificent, so back and forth. But what really, for me, took the cake was that Colossus move out of Harstem. That's going to stick in my brain for a while. That was like such a big play that I've never seen equivalent to before. And if he can keep pulling off moves like that, man, I don't think he's going to stay down 0-1 in the series. But this pylon block at the Showtime is funky for a couple different reasons. One, obviously it delays a natural base that Harstem had clearly set up to take with his building placement like this. Showtime didn't take his own natural base because he had spent the money on it, as well as his own infrastructure. So he's a little bit behind in that regard. But the freedom for Showtime to do this, to go for a Stargate faster than, say, a natural base, is because he knows Harstem's also not taking a natural base. Harstem scouting the second of Showtime's a pretty big deal too, because if Showtime had done all this on one base, then there'd be a really big all-in coming. But there's not. And that probe may have died, but that was a good sacrifice for a very important scout. Dark Otter wants to know, for rally, is it better to shatter mediocre cards or keep them in the collection bonus? I shatter anything I don't want to use. I try to keep my card count around 10 if possible. I'm not saying that's the best way to play, but for me, it allows, it kind of guarantees you get more of the same cards over and over, so you can level them up more. So rather than have a bunch of cards that are spread out level 20, you maybe have one card that's like hitting for 900 because it's level 80 something. That's my logic on it, but to be honest, if I had to suggest getting rally advice from somebody, Mike Zeckham seems to be like the most dedicated rally fiend out there. He watches while at work all day just to play rally. The guy's insane. He's the one I ask advice from, if you see him in the chat at any point. But yeah, we do have a little mini game below the stream for those who are new to the channel today. I see that we've got one of the second front page slots. So hey, a couple of new people filtering in. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel. We do have a little mini game below the stream our viewers have play. It is no money or anything like that. There's no transactions. It's just a fun little mini game with cards and memes from the channel called Rally. But okay, despite this opening being as funny as it was, this does end up looking fairly normal. Like, if you had just sat down and watched this, like, open the stream this moment, you'd see this and think, nothing here looks too odd. And that's just the pacing of this going where it did. Oh man, last time we were on Disco Bloodbath, I forgot we discovered one of the map Easter eggs. I don't think we see them so well right now, but there are some hidden moopies on the south side of the map I had never known about. So these guys just kind of chilling, and if anyone goes down there, you'll see them dance and have a bit of a party. Phoenixes are patrolling around right now. I think just kind of on guard against the Warp Prism more than anything else, but it is good scouting because they are fast and quick, as you can see. It'd be very tempting for Showtime to dive across the map and just go kill some probes, but to be honest, it's not like that option goes away. As long as these Phoenix don't have 200 energy, nothing's really being wasted. We also have that fake hallucination trying to get to the main base, get a bit of scouting. Stalker's going to deny this out. But there are real Phoenix patrolling around the map, and he's just barely not going to catch this Warp Prism, which does have 2 Immortals in it. Now, this is a really risky move for Harstem to take, to be honest, but I also don't know that he, he knows about the Stargate. This is a poor move. He's going to have to recall. Because if he drops the Immortals out, they're going to get lifted and picked off by the Phoenix. The Warp Prism clearly not going to make it out of here alive if it continues flying, so unfortunately, despite his best efforts to be sneaky, this attack was shut down. And with this being 2 Immortals, this was definitely not meant to be a little bit of harassment. This was supposed to be a big distraction and cause a lot of problems. The fact that Showtime shut that down so easily and continues to deny the hallucination scouts really puts the pressure on Harstem in this game. Also, again, some of the alert sounds are going off. They aren't. I'm not sure what's going on with it today, guys. Every day we go live, something else breaks, it feels, lately. But old Jimmy and Pheasanator, thank you guys both. Nervoth as well. Nothing but gratitudes. Thanks for coming back, guys. I think we're going to see a bit more of a straight-up game this time around, though. You guys will notice they're both going for Templar Archive, so they're both thinking of Archons. Charge, I believe, is on the way for both as well. The key difference in this game being Harstem is a little ahead on plus weapons. +1's already done and +2's on the way. Archons for Harstem make a lot of sense because there are Phoenix in play. There are units that cannot be lifted up or dealt with. Feedback from the Templar could strip these of their energy and make them kind of inert and useless. There's a lot of good reasons for Harstem to go on for this Templar Archives. The thing about Showtime is I think he's doing the I know what you're doing and I know that you know that I know what you're doing type strategy. So he's instead just going to play straight up rather than try and dance around this with weird tactics. And to be honest, there's nothing wrong with that at all. He's got good macro. His income has been fantastic for a lot of this game. He's got money to spend. So if it comes down to a gateway war, I think Showtime's actually got a bit of an edge in that regard. Harstem loses an observer just now, but he does scout several Archons. A good confirmation from him too, just to make sure he's not making the wrong units. But to be clear, just like last game, if either player decides to take that risk and swap into Robotech, it could overpower the other's army because it's gateway-based. I don't think that'll be Harstem, though. With him knowing that there's Phoenix on the map, and that more importantly, there was a Stargate very early on, if he were to go Disruptors, he just risks having them lifted up, and if they get lifted up, they're denied, their shots are shut down, it just ultimately ends up being no good. Hallucination makes it through on this end. Sees the third base. Harstem started, granted, a little further behind Showtime's, but not by enough to really be that big of a deal. He's got a few more workers that he's just transferred over to, so that should help him catch up in income. The money difference between these two has really not been that big. By the time this fight hits, there should be +2 weapons for both. Showtime does have a small army lead, but the type of army here is kind of all over the place for both. His 3 Phoenix could be really valuable on the back line, lifting up some of these units like those Immortals and just take them out of the fight. Some defensive shield batteries going down for Harstem between the 2 bases. I actually really like this move, but to be clear, this is now 200 minerals, 300 plus minerals, 400 plus minerals. That could have been more Zealots, another Stalker warp in. I mean, these shield batteries, if they win the fight, are worth their weight in gold, but they're not even done by the time the battle begins. And the Zealots on the front line slamming in hard. Harstem's own Archon's not going to work till very late in the battle, and I think some weird miscontrol, but more importantly, bad positioning hurts him here the most. But those shield batteries finish up now. Is this in the nick of time? He is keeping these units alive, but those bonus, there's no more bonus damage for anybody at this point, just the Immortals versus the Stalkers. So the shield batteries are getting drained, the Archons are pretty much gone, the micro moves out of Showtime are looking fantastic there to kind of help counteract all of this. But while this went on, and I don't know what happened, whether it was a Zealot or what, something counterattacked, and Showtime lost 8 probes behind this. Absolutely fantastic play out of Harstem. Didn't even see that coming, and neither did Showtime, quite clearly. But still, Harstem's not saved yet. These shield batteries are a great defensive thing to take, but Showtime could waddle around to go from the other angle. And if he did, there's not 7 shield batteries over there. Perhaps a little bit of horse blinders, maybe confidence. Either way, he's coming in up 20-something supply. I don't know if Harstem can make this happen again. That was a pretty miraculous hold the first time. These shield batteries are being dealt with. Granted, they've used up most of their energy, so it's not like they've been wasted here. But with the pylon going down, those shield batteries taken out of the fight. Harstem's army supply is close, but I really don't think it's close enough. The Archons are bullying through. Showtime pushes in with a lot of brute force here. And I think this is it for Harstem. Probes get pulled. It's always desperate when probes get pulled. GGs get typed. Showtime takes game number 2. But welcome back, and hello. Guys, I am going to take our first commercial break of the day here. We'll get things sorted and updated in a moment. I have no water. I really need to go grab some. So I thank you all for tuning in. I promise we won't be gone too long. Next up will be Acropolis. It is the last life of Harstem, possibly, but hopefully not his last game. Either way, I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Thanks for watching. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 3. Hoping this guy's got a bit of fight in him still. To the top left, on his last life in this tournament, we do have the blue Protoss, Harstem. And his opponent to the bottom right, going to be the red Protoss, Showtime. Leading 2-0. Now, because this is possibly, hopefully not, but possibly the end of Harstem's life, I actually want to walk you guys through some of the prize stuff. Because, first and foremost, thanks to the many of you who have helped us out, but primarily Mike Zeckham, who single-handedly funded the bottom 8 prize pool, we actually have prizing for the 5th through 8th prize spots. Meaning anybody who loses here today, when it was just the initial money put in by DFY Esports was going to win no prize money. Now they all walk away with $50 minimum, thanks to Mike Zeckham. But, of course, big thank you to DFY for allowing us to open the prize pool to crowdfunding in the first place. With their generosity of $1,500, it seeded out a really nice starting prize pool, raising this up now by almost $500, well, over $500 at this point. We've managed to increase the prizing for many of the players participating, and it will increase even further as we raise more money, if we raise more money. But my personal goal for this was for us to get it to 2K, and we did, so thank you all for that. We do still have coupon codes, so I am going to urge you once again to use the coupon code DFY Star League on Matcherino and help us add another $1 to the prize pool until every single one of those codes is used up. Additionally, we do have that iPad giveaway. I don't know why I said that so funny with a Canadian accent. We do have an iPad giveaway presently going on. That is ! giveaway in the chat for the link on Twitch, or you can just scroll down below the stream and click the link down below. I urge you to get in because why not? It's a free iPad. Who's going to complain about that? Gets to the main base. There's not really a lot for it to scout. See, the Stargate will be good, actually. But this is not too different than the way Showtime played last game, with the key difference being there was no pylon here that Harstem had to finagle with. So his own pylon placed out on the map. Not sure if this is going to be for anything or just a mess with Showtime. Showtime's probe sees no natural base, no third pylon. This might look a lot more all-in than Harstem ends up allowing it to be. I see this with a question mark because I don't know what this pylon's going to be used for. No gateway was placed down, so it's not a warp and angle. Clearly, no robo, no nothing. It's just an odd pylon that I really think was just meant to mind game Showtime a bit. I think that's all this was, to be honest. Okay, I don't know why the Stream Elements thing is linking you guys the giveaway link, but then also saying, sorry, there are no giveaways. Real quick, ignore that. Click the link. It's robots. They betrayed us already. AI's not even been invented yet, and they're already betraying us. This, you know what? This is how Terminator happens, guys. All right, a couple of adepts going to transfer up here. There's currently nothing to block the ramp, which is unfortunate, but there are units to fight, so while these adepts might kill a couple of things like a sentry, ooh, that was actually a nasty pickoff. Sentries are very expensive. This could have been avoided by Harstem had he predicted this coming. A bit of a bad call on his part, but not the end of the world. One sentry, one probe. Meanwhile, the fake Oracle does get taken up by real Phoenix on the other side of the field. Yes, but actually no. Okay. That... the fake Phoenix, they got the hallucination on the other side of the field, which is good to nice scouting, but again, tips Harstem off to the fact that that Stargate was going to still produce units, and Phoenix are a little annoying to deal with. They're so quick, and they don't take much damage from stalkers, so pushing this off is doable, but stopping them from getting lots of kills is sometimes it feels like impossible. Just dive in here really quick, grab that probe, and get out. Takes a bit of damage, of course. It's not all for free, but 2 probes, no deaths for Showtime in that regard. He is still investing in Phoenix, by the way. This is not just the initial 3. Going up to at least 5 for the time being. 5's pretty standard, actually. If he goes more than that, that's when we can really start talking about the oh my god factor. And it looks like he is. Queuing up a 6th one as we speak. So, I don't know if there's going to be mass Phoenix. That's kind of a hard call to say. This 6th one may just be to make up for the one that's really low. Maybe he thought he would even lose it. I didn't pre-queued it up. I don't know. But the point is, this many Phoenix on the field are great for the early game. They give you a lot of that map control. We talked about this before, and if they can control the map, then there's nowhere Harstem can really go, get to, you know, no warp prisms that get to skirt around the map and what have you. And then, great, awesome, 2 thumbs up. But it is a weaker amount of units for the army, because at the end of the day, as powerful as Phoenix are, they can only kill a limited amount of things, limited by their energy. So I would be surprised if we saw too many of these. That's a big part of why you don't see people do this to that much anymore. The investment sometimes just really isn't worth it. But these adepts at a Harstem, by the way, totally worth it. 5 probes and an adept kill for 2 adepts on the other side of the map. This was actually a really nice move on his part. Now he's up about 10 workers over Showtime. A lot of this had to do more with his natural base finishing sooner than necessarily getting 5 kills, but 5 kills certainly added and made that a bit better. So for the first time in 3 games, Harstem has the income control, the income dominance, if you will. Now, I'm just going to say this really quick to pander. My apologies to everybody as we have a brief break in the action. I don't know how long we have front page time for today, and I know that it's not the primary front page spot, so we're not getting crazy viewers, but for those who are tuning in for the front page, I'd like to just give you a very special howdy and hello. I know Starcraft's not everybody's cup of tea, but hopefully you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. Maybe consider coming to join us on the channel, because typically when we get front page, it only does last about an hour, and it's been about an hour. So my fear is that we're going to lose you, and I'll never see you again. But yeah, come on over, guys. We've got a friendly chat. If you got questions, you know, you want to know more about what's going on, I'm happy to explain it. This is a lot less of like, you know, your super professional commentary and more like me hanging out. If you guys got questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you don't know why a Protoss unit's doing that or who's doing what, just let me know. If I don't answer you, almost guaranteed somebody in chat will. I still love this game. It's old, I know. It's nothing new, I know. But I do this every day and I've been doing it for 7 years. So hopefully maybe there's someone out there who likes it too. Why don't Marauders shoot up? You know what? That's the one question I can't answer. I'm so sorry, Dimish. I've let you down. I've proven myself to be a liar at the same stroke. I am ultimately the worst. Now, this is a really interesting play out of Harstem. I don't know if he knows about the disruptors. We'll check his vision real quick. No, he doesn't know about Showtime's tech choices here. He did see the robo building, but I do truly believe that he thinks Showtime's going to dedicate to disruptors. Sorry, I forgot the name there for a second. I do believe Harstem thinks Showtime's going to go disruptors. What Showtime probably wasn't expecting was a double Stargate, which he, by the way, has not scouted with his Phoenix. So this is going to let Harstem build up a good chunk of his Phoenix on his own. Now, I described this happening, but it didn't happen in Game 1. But if a disruptor fires its shot off, Harstem then has about 2 to 3 seconds to lift it up. It doesn't have to kill it. It doesn't have to keep it crowd controlled. It just has to lift it up for even a fraction of a second to cancel the shot. So if this double Stargate allows him to get ahead in Phoenix, not only can he win the air battle, he will then proceed to win any fight with the disruptors in terms of crowd control. Now, Harstem still might lose the game if there's really good plays out of Showtime, but to be clear, Harstem's been faster to his third, his natural, and he's had more probes on average, more income on average than Showtime. There are leads in this. Oh, this is kind of a key move. There are many leads in this game for Harstem. Oh, is that really going off of 1 bit? Please don't. There are many. There are many leads that are going well for Harstem in this game for the first time in this series. It's about time we got a small win in that regard. But Showtime finally does scout the double Stargate. And the question and how he handles this is going to be very interesting to watch. He could throw in a second Stargate of his own, start building up his own Phoenix count, and go over Phoenix Wars. Again, just confirm he did see both, so he knows 100% with certainty. Wait, how did he saw both Stargates but not the pylon? That's interesting. He knows with certainty that there are going to be Phoenix in play. But you don't have to go Phoenix to counter Phoenix. You can do things like make a bunch of Archons, and guess what? Phoenix can't lift those up. It's kind of useless. Showtime did take a hidden base, but I'm kind of rolling my eyes on this one a little bit because hidden bases have historically not worked out when we've watched them on games on the channel. They're always a really cool idea, but I think like one time in like 7 years has a hidden base won somebody a game. Harstem is in fact going to see this with his massive Phoenix army. And I'm going to have to disable alerts if you guys keep this up. Not a lot to mosey down the middle of the map with, but God, that's a lot of disruptors. You know, another thing I hadn't considered as a way to counter the Phoenix play was just to go so many disruptors that they can't possibly lift them all up. Okay, 2 more Stargates coming down. And a Fleet Beacon. Ooh, that Fleet Beacon's going to be interesting. That's a big investment. I like that Chill One Jedi. The reason this is a big deal, though, is because not only is that going to allow him to get more Phoenix, but if he gets Anion Pulse Crystals, he will outrange Harstem's Phoenix. But Harstem, through this, is going to lose a Phoenix to a cannon. Picks up about 11 probes, though. This is a massacre, to be sure. But Showtime can't give chase to this. He'll lose that Phoenix War 10 times out of 10. Meanwhile, Zealots are taking away the 4th base, and Harstem has his own set up really nicely. Frankly, I do believe this game is going Harstem's way in every way that it could, which is great because, as we saw, he was, of course, struggling in the first 2. But this Disruptor's going to take out that whole ground army. That is, of course, one of the biggest concerns here. Disruptor shots fired. Going to kill a couple of Zealots. 69 is better than 1, I guess. There's the liftoff. Barely. He almost got that shot off on the whole backline into Harstem. With the blitz in with the Phoenix is a big move. 12 Phoenix to 2. Showtime cannot fight this back with the air battle. He can certainly fight it back with the ground battle if the shots get to go off. It's a little bit hard to call these disruptors, but Harstem once again dives in and selects it, denying the shot entirely. 4 or 5 disruptors remain. These Phoenix continue to hold their energy, but they could just lift up everything that remains right now. He's going to miss out on one of the disruptor shots, but GG's get called. Harstem fights back! And he won't go down without swinging. This series is not over yet, and game number 3 goes in Harstem's favor. This, of course, means we'll go to a game 4, which is always the sweetest and the best, because that means it wasn't over in a one-sided manner. But Harstem still has a lot of work to do. He's not safe. Thunderbird's coming up next. I hate you guys so much. This isn't like a cheeky, like, haha, I'm saying, like, don't do it because I want you to do it. This is like 1 bit is worth 1 penny. This is not worth it. And I don't know why the alerts are going off for 1 penny. So, stop. Okay, we're gonna make Showtime Forge with those cool skins. Harstem, Ehanri. The Ghosty Cheer is back. Oh yeah, it is like Spooktober. Alright, as soon as they're ready, we're gonna hop in a game, guys. After this, we'll take another break, whether the series is over or not. Gotta get some liquids in me. Okay. Let's get into it. Game number 4 starting up. Harstem down 1 game as we hop into Thunderbird for the map. And I'm just trying to time out this cool screen they made for us. It is 6 seconds, so it's got to be pretty on point. All right. Game number 4. Score 2-1 favoring this fella. Spawning here to the bottom right. Going to be the red Protoss Showtime. To the top left, we have the blue Protoss. It's, of course, Harstem. Hey guys, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. If anyone else cheers 1 bit right now, because I don't have the I am so stressed from the way the stream started, I am going to time you out. And I will see you in 10 minutes. So if you'd like a 10-minute timeout, cheer another bit. I'm not baiting you. I'm just telling you I can't deal with this right now. because so much has gone wrong with this stream to start it off, and I'd like to just get through this cast before I have a chance to even finish it. So please stop. Okay. Mods, I'm hoping you can take care of that so I don't have to tab out and do it again. Now, Showtime's the one with a bit of a fickle probe, but a lot of these probes have been for scouting more than anything else. However, the path of this one is so odd that I can't imagine that this is doing anything cheeky. It's just gone for a very roundabout way to scout. There are, of course, the minerals in the middle of the map that you can pluck out and kind of open pathways with. Cool. If none of our mods are going to time out people who are tier 1 bits, then I don't know why I even have mods. I'm just going to get rid of everybody today, apparently. Thank you for the real bits, though, Fish. Corey, thank you for the 300 bits. Rat-a-tatting it up real good. It's a different sound effect. To the bottom side of the map, though, there's not a nexus coming down quickly, so this pylon might just actually be committed to be something more than I expected. It's in a weird spot. These are sight blockers, so this is going to provide a little bit of cover. If Harstem walks through them, obviously you can see whatever is built, but for the time being, it's kind of hidden. Good block over here. He really doesn't want Harstem to know that there's no second pylon down. So Harstem's main base open right now, or excuse me, Showtime's base otherwise open. Harstem completely denied the scout. But for Harstem, just the fact that that scout got denied, that little bit of extra try hard to deny the scouting, is already a bit of a red flag. And as you can see, these probes are walking around the map looking to see what exactly was trying to be hidden here. But as we know, it is a robo plop down in the middle. Therm, thank you for the real bits. Dylan, thank you for the real bits. This is really unfortunate for Harstem, because this, to be clear, this is a really odd location, almost like hidden in plain sight in a weird way. Because normally, you would just path through the middle of the map, and you would scout this 10 times out of 10, but Harstem did never at any point till just now go through the middle of the map. So he does find about this robo, but it is so much later than any other means possible. And it's almost like he played himself in this situation. By trying so hard to look around the map for the shenanigans, he misses what is the most obvious dead on in the middle. Also, Shining7, thank you for the 1,500 bits, man. This is making this a little bit less stressful. Thank you, man. Meanwhile, it is a Stargate play out of Harstem, and to deal with Showtime's robo, he's investing in a lot of shield batteries, but also a Void Ray, which is pretty unconventional in most situations. But the Void Ray, when prismatically aligned, will take care of most things labeled with armor, and that includes Stalkers and Immortals. The shield battery should keep his own units up alive, so while in a, I guess, small scale engagement, this wouldn't be that easy of a fight to win. I do feel that with what he has, it should be a pretty easy hold. The Observer did scout too, by the way. Of course, if you don't know, you can see what the Stargate's building. Showtime knows it's a Void Ray. There's no question about it. And the Observer's in a good spot to keep watching too. So Harstem can't really push out of his base, but he might not need to, because that second probe that had failed at scouting this proxy from earlier did sneak around the map and actually has a pylon now in Showtime's third. This doesn't need to be a huge deal. Harstem is already ahead in this game because he has a Nexus down. He knows that too. All he has to do is warp in 2 Adepts. That's it. In fact, he's going for exactly 2 Adepts. All he has to do is send these Adepts in, cause a little bit of harassment, and Showtime, who's already behind economically, falls even further behind economically. Add into the fact that there's an Oracle heading to the main base and no shield batteries down. This is going to be a tough defense for Showtime against Harstem just slinging, I guess, worker attacking units his way. But by pylon blocking the Adepts, he does also pylon block his own Stalkers. Now, luckily, he does have a Stalker in the main base, so this does get dealt with. But, man, that was kind of a cool move, actually. I don't think that was intended, but that played out pretty nice. Harstem killing 5 probes might not seem like a big deal, but he is up 41 to 25. And remember, his natural base was down forever ago in comparison. All right, kills the robo. Cool to see. Showtime a little confused where those Adepts came from, I guess, but he'll find this pylon now and deal with it. Two Void Rays. Now here's the thing. In most situations, you just walk away from the Void Ray. It prismatically aligns. Boo-hoo, walk away. I don't know if that's going to be an option here. If Harstem's got pressure on the natural base, that's one of those things where it's like, oh, you don't want to fight me here? I'll just end up frying your Nexus then or something. But rather than commit, he's falling back. Maybe a little scared of what's going on. The unknowing, a little bit too scary for him. Can't blame him. As he goes towards his third, he will get ahead in this regard if he takes this soon. Showtime's still saturating his natural. And in fact, a big deal of difference between these two are their gases. I hadn't even considered that till just now, but Showtime does not have his third and fourth gas yet. Warp Prism's got an Immortal and 2 Stalkers. This isn't going to blow away a pylon like 2 Immortals would, but it is some pretty big damage if it's left unchecked. All right, well, we have a bit of calm here. Thank you, Myzix, for the 33 months. Welcome back. Theory and Gaming as well. Thank you for the 17 months of Twitch Prime. Sorry about getting a little heated at the start of the game, guys, but as mentioned earlier, things are a little stressful getting the stream started today, so that was not adding to it. We also got a $5 donation, which, hang on, I'm pulling up the message as we speak. Veiled Fury, thank you very much for the $5. It says, screw bits, this is real money, Kappa. Thank you, dude. I do appreciate it. Charge lots for charge lots. And +1 on both sides. So the follow-up to, funny enough, like, the Stargate openings aside, the follow-up to this looks pretty normal. But with Harstem having had so much, like a substantially larger income early on, if this does end up being 1-to-1 going forward, where they're still getting +1 on par with each other, +2 on par with each other, they're both going for charge lots and Archons, etc., Harstem will reach supply cap sooner than Showtime would. In fact, Showtime's third is trailing a little bit behind Harstem's. And it's crazy to me because in Game 1 and Game 2, it's not like they weren't macro games. It wasn't like a bunch of cheese that ended games in like 5 minutes. But there were games where Showtime had control, and then for whatever reason, Game 3 and now Game 4, Harstem's the one who's controlling the income. And for me, this feels like a mindset thing out of Showtime. Like, I'm not sure what he's thinking of or if he's getting too much into his own head, but a lot of his extra tactics are just putting him further behind, if that makes sense. Whereas I feel if he just played more straight up like he did Game 1, this wouldn't be the case. I mean, the Robo was a cool play. I liked it, and it was unexpected, and Harstem obviously didn't scout it for a very long time. So it's not like the Robo was a bad play per se in this game, but as a consequence, his macro suffers. This is... I want to see him make use of the Void Rays, but it kind of feels like at this point there's not really a way to use them. They're really cool units, and they're so scarcely used because they are kind of vulnerable, slow, but when they get to fight, they really get to fight. I think the best use Harstem's had out of this so far is pretty much just making sure no Warp Prisms are flying by. If these things catch a Warp Prism, it is super dead. But Showtime's not been about that harassment life. He's been building up macro behind it, and of course, he does have 2 Disruptors coming out next, which might just prove to be a big problem for Harstem. He lost his Warp Prism, but he does proceed to jump into the base, and this is before the Disruptors are ready to go, so there's no real way for Showtime to just blow this army away. This wall at the front is huge. Going to try and take down these pylons. It'll depower a couple of gateways, sure, but it'll open the front gates for the Zealots to finally get in there, possibly, and potentially. But Harstem also says, screw it, you know what? This is a joke that I don't want to fight. I'm going to instead just shut down the 4th. And with him taking his own 4th behind it, once again continues to keep his lead going in this game. Now the Void Ray here in the front line is going to help out a bit too with high ground vision. Something he'll need as he tries to assault the ramp, but if he sends it too far forward, he knows the Phoenix is going to pop it off. So that's why you see him playing very conservative with this in the back. Again, poke at the top of the ramp, trying to find some room to get in. The gateway is being torn down slowly, but every Every second that goes by actually kind of favors Showtime in this regard. It's another disruptor that spawns. He's got 4 now in total. You know, the cooldowns start coming off too, and every shot that gets fired, Harstem right now doesn't have an immediate answer for. He can lift up maybe one of them with that Phoenix on the left side, but if he does, he's going to kamikaze run into 3 of Showtime's. So this is not an easy fight to take, but as mentioned before, thanks to the money game, Harstem's up a lot of supply. However, those 24 Zealots to 12 quickly dissipate if those Disruptors get even a single good shot off. Harstem's okay with splits. We did see him splitting earlier with the Stalkers, but splitting with Stalkers is way different than splitting with, say, Zealots. Stalkers have Blink. Hoping to bait this down to the bottom of the ramp. Maybe a fight he could take. That Warp Prism under a little bit of fire. Disruptors do get their shots off this time, but they don't hit the Zealots. They hit the back line. And Archons don't really care if they get hit by the Disruptors. They can take 2 shots. 3 of the Archons pop off almost simultaneously. Harstem looking to push in, though. Big army supply lead now, up by 10. Looking to take this out, too. Those Void Rays have nothing, almost nothing left to shoot back at him. They haven't even prismatically aligned yet. He still has his ability off cooldown, but as he pushes in, it does look like Showtime's starting to push back. Those defensive weapons are looking okay. Another disruptor shot comes in, but blinks forward, snipes off the disruptor. GG's. Ladies and gentlemen, the series ties up now 1-1. Excuse me, 2-2, and we are gonna go to game number 5. Sorry, I just got way too excited there. Completely forgot what the number, because we normally do best of 3s, but yes, game number 5. This is turning out to be quite the great round of 8 match. So the next map will be World of Sleepers. I'm going to get that hosted up, but we are going to take another quick break here. Nothing too long this time. I know last time I said nothing too long, and then it ended up taking 3 minutes. This time I have my water. I'm good to go. We're just playing a couple of minutes of commercials, and I'll see you guys here soon. Thank you. Nope. No thank you. Stop cheering one bit. Brazcat, what's up, dude? All right, guys. Hosting the lobby now. Be back as quick as possible. See you soon. Okay, we find ourselves in Game 5, the last possible match of this series. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in this morning. Really good games have been granted to us. Thank you to the folks at DFY for making this possible. Again, they are running an iPad giveaway if you guys would like to get into that. You can click the little widget below the stream or just type ! giveaway in the chat. Don't mind Stream Elements. It's going to tell you there's no giveaway. Just click the link above that message. I don't know why it's doing that. The alerts have been resolved at this point, hopefully, so no more issues with headache, and let's continue on with game number 5. For the last time today, for the last possible match in this round of 8 game, we do have to the top right, the blue Protoss, Harstem. His opponent to the bottom left will be the red Protoss, the German Showtime. Rifkin, but technically, what if they go for a tie? It's a stalemate and they go over game 6. I guess that's possible, but it's so freaking unlikely. So that's why I don't bring it up. But again, we've got 3 other best of 5s happening today. It's the full day of Starcraft, everybody. Next up is going to be Cham versus Geralt. After that, we got Euthermal versus Bly. And then, of course, the last series today is Mana versus Raynor. Now, only 4 players will move on to play tomorrow, but I should note that we'll be live at the same time tomorrow. So I hope to see you guys here bright and early if you've enjoyed the games today. I know that today is a little bit more free for some because, hey, quick shout-outs to Canadian Thanksgiving, which is, of course, going to prompt the question, why do Canadians have Thanksgiving? And my only answer is to give thanks, ? Something about the harvest, ? I'm not a very good Canadian. In fact, I only learned it was Canadian Thanksgiving like over this weekend by mistake. When you're a streamer, you kind of lose sense of time, and I definitely don't get holidays like people, like quote-unquote normal people do. So it's always a bit of a surprise. I'm the last one to learn because I'll be streaming and someone will be like, hey, Rip, happy Canadian Thanksgiving. And I'm like, oh, is it? Great. Happy Columbus Day. Oh, is it? Happy Halloween! Since when? I tell you what, though, I do miss the big turkey dinner. Man, depending on who makes it, the turkey can be really good. I think it all comes down to the gravy, personally. My uncle would make the worst. It's like brown water. But of course, the family would always have these big family get-togethers, and it's like, great. I don't want to have Thanksgiving there. I'm sick that day. You know, I'm going to Subway. Oh my god, we actually have someone with the name Gravy in the chat. Well, as long as you're not watered down little gray water and your actual gravy, you're all good, dude. Alright, well, Nexus to Nexus. Showtime's not being a little sloppy in this regard, but he does have that proxy Stargate. So the Oracle heads on in now. This is going to find a lot of things out of position, and unfortunately the defenders of this situation are sentries, not stalkers, so it's going to take a little bit of time to get that out of the base. Stalkers have that bonus damage. It's so sweet. It's so weird still. I know that this has been the case for months now, but is anyone else still not used to Oracles being armored units that take bonus damage from stalkers? Because that still doesn't register with me until the shots get fired, and I'm like, oh yeah, that guy took a lot of damage. I guess it's years that they were the other way around, I guess. But regardless, Harstem shouldn't take too much damage from this. The two combo will allow him to punch right through a shield battery if there was one made, which, by the way, at the moment there is not. On the other side of the field, taking his own precautions, and it was scouted by hallucination. Shield battery's been placed down. I don't know if Harstem saw the robo, though. Take a look at that here in just a sec. Yeah, look at the shield's already gone. It's like 3 shots. Okay, he did see the robo with that scout too, so he knows the tech path of Showtime beyond this. It's not just a Stargate. He can also probably safely assess that there won't be Phoenix, but, you know, you never want to assume too much in this game. I think one of the things I like about Harstem, though, is, okay, he can come off as a bit of a goof, whether it's the Hobbits to Isengard streams, or whether it's just his personality. But Harstem's actually a very serious player, and he's really smart and really cool, and don't let him know I said this stuff about him, okay? Because it's not that I like him, but you just like him. But I've had some conversations. Oh, he's getting massacred here. My compliments are backfiring. I'm caster cursing him. 15 workers going down. That is brutal. That is tough. That is difficult to come back to. But to finish my point, real quick here. Oh, he didn't cancel the shield battery either. Oh, this is bad. These 2 oracles completely disrupted his game plan. He's going to push with this, but he's already taken so much damage. This is tough. But I've had conversations with Harstem where he always blows me away with some sort of Protoss knowledge or something that, like, maybe I didn't know or I just didn't realize. Whether it's timings or, like, how you can assess what something is based off of scouting. I mean, we as the casual fans and the viewers and me as a commentator, like, we know the basics of this, right? Until you're, like, Grandmaster, 6K MMR, you're never going to understand the intricacies of this matchup like somebody like Harstem will. So it's always really cool when he shares his knowledge about it. I love when he talks about this stuff on stream, too. Granted, more time on stream, he's just talking about why he's doing stuff, not explaining the cool, crazy stuff. But either way, Harstem's a really smart guy. And I'm really sad to see him be stuck in this situation, but forced to fight, gonna take the best fight that he can. Warp Prism some more Stalkers. Warp Prism's unfortunately in deployment mode, so it can't really get up here to scoop those Stalkers back and give them that kind of ghetto blink. 2 of them almost dead on arrival. 9 Stalkers to 1. There's a big deal with the Immortals coming out. They're going to punch a hole right through those Stalkers. Shield battery's finishing up too, making this a very difficult fight. Harstem's just not getting the damage in, and he's going to tap out. GG. Ladies and gentlemen, Showtime with 2 oracles pretty much determining that game. Did win Game 5. Closes up the series, and most importantly, means Showtime will move on to play tomorrow in the round of 4. The playoffs, as it were. But that is going to conclude that match. It's the only mirror matchup today. All the rest do have some variety. But I think, to be clear, I hate PvP most. I think, on average, PvP can be one of the most boring matchups. But in excellence, that matchup was fantastic. And I have no regrets. That was a lot of fun. I had a really good time, and I hope you guys did too.